Hey guys, it's Olivia and I'm back with another video. So a few weeks ago, YouTube sent out an email notification basically saying that they were going to start taxing non-US creators for views from the US. So let's say that 50% of your views are from the US. Let's say you made $100 based on those views, then you would get taxed on that $100, and then the other 50% of your views from different countries you wouldn't get taxed on. At least that is my understanding of it. So I am not a YouTube professional or a tax professional or an accountant or anything. I was previously an accounting major, but I'm not anymore. So I'm not claiming to know everything. However, that was my understanding of it. And so myself, as well as other non-US creators, were panicked, if that's the right word, not because they have to pay taxes, because you had to pay taxes anyways in your home country, but now they were panicked because now they thought that they would have to pay taxes in the US, and then when they got that money they'd have to pay taxes again in their home country, right? That's the way it was looking. However, I have just started to complete this process of submitting my tax information so they know what percentage to take, and I think I found something. So first, we're going to go over to my laptop and we're going to do a screen recording. So as you can see, when you go into your channel, it has this little pop-up banner and it says action required. Creators outside of the US submit your tax information in AdSense to ensure potential taxes on your earnings are accurate. And so when you click this submit tax info button, you get brought to this page, which basically is a Q&A and it answers a lot of questions. However, I was scrolling through it and I came across this section of tax treaty benefits. And then it says, my country and the United States have an income tax treaty. How can I ensure that the treaty details are applied? So I opened it and it says, if your country and the United States have an income tax treaty in place, then the tax tool in AdSense will identify the details of that during tax form submission. Want to know if your country has a tax treaty with the United States? Refer to the IRS website. So I clicked this here website because I live in Canada, by the way, and it says United States income tax treaties listed from countries A to Z. So I scroll and I see that Canada is one of the countries, which is the country that I live in. So if I click Canada, it has these different links that I haven't clicked on yet. But from what I understand, and from a Google definition of a tax treaty, it says a treaty is a bilateral two-party agreement made by two countries to resolve issues involving double taxation of passive and active income of each of their respective citizens. Income tax treaties generally determine the amount of tax that a country can apply to a taxpayer's income, capital, estate, or wealth. So once again, I'm not a tax professional or an accountant or anything like that, but to my understanding, if your country has a tax treaty with another country, then you won't be double taxed. So I'm going to now fill out this tax information form to see if that is in fact true. I haven't done it yet, so we're gonna see what happens. So you have to go into your AdSense in order to do this. So let me go to my AdSense account. So I'm in my AdSense account, and then I believe I go over to payments and then manage tax info, and then I have to add my tax info. So this is the page I got to, and then I stopped because I wanted to film this process in case I'm right and I will in fact not be getting double taxed. So let's see. So what type of account is it? I have an individual account. I don't have an LLC or anything like that. So individual. Next. Are you a citizen or resident of the United States? No, I am not. Based on your previously selected answers, a W-8 form is needed. A W-8 BEN. This form is most commonly used by non-U.S. individuals and would also be used to claim tax treaty benefits. The W8ECI, this form is most commonly used by non-U.S. business entities or individuals that earned income related to its U.S. or trade business and files a U.S. income tax return. So I assume that I'm going to choose the W8BEN since that is used to claim treaty benefits. So I'm going to click that, and then I'm going to start filling out this form. Country, region of citizenship is Canada. A taxpayer identification number is a tax processing number required by the IRS for some tax forms. For foreign tax information numbers, don't include any other foreign personal identification. If you're claiming treaty, you're required to provide a foreign TIN. I need to read more about that because I'm not exactly sure. Okay, so I think I know what my TIN would be, so I'm going to put that in real quick. Next. Okay, and then fill out my address. Are you claiming a reduced rate of withholding under a tax treaty? If I click yes, it says under a tax treaty, several types of income may be exempt from tax or may have a reduced tax rate. Different types of income will have different requirements and limitations for eligibility. So I don't know if the tax is going to be completely exempt on the US side, and then I'll obviously have to file in Canada. I don't know if it's going to be completely exempt, but I'm hoping so. So I'm going to click yes. I am a resident of the country claiming treaty with the US, and that country is Canada. And then special rates and conditions. You may be exempt or have taxes withheld at a reduced rate on certain income types earned within the US. These reduced rates and exemptions vary among countries and specific income types. Select all that apply to you. You can claim any future income type that you may plan to earn from Google products. So I need to claim all the ones that I'm currently earning from and the ones that I plan to in the future. So I'm earning from AdSense. Reasons Olivia Henry meets the terms of the treaty article. As a tax resident of the country/region identified in the tax identity section, the individual identified in the tax identity section meets required terms of the treaty, doesn't have a permanent establishment in the U.S., and doesn't perform independent personal services in the U.S. from a fixed base in the U.S., or the right or property in respect of which royalties are paid isn't effectively connected with a permanent establishment or fixed base. I have no clue what that is saying. I believe that's saying that I have no ties to the US, like I don't have an address out there. Therefore, I shouldn't be paying taxes in the US since I don't have any, like, roots in the US, I guess. So I'm going to check that. Article 7 in paragraph 1, withholding rate. I'm going to go with reduced treaty rate, which would be 0%. Motion picture and TV royalties such as certain YouTube movies and shows and play partners. I'm not currently involved in any of that, and I don't know if I ever will be, so I'm going to leave that unchecked. Other copyright royalties such as play and YouTube partner program. I am in the YouTube partner program. As a tax resident of the country/region identified in the tax identity section, the individual identified in the tax identity section meets required terms of the treaty and doesn't have a permanent establishment in the U.S., or the right or property in respect of which the royalties are paid isn't effectively connected with a permanent establishment or fixed base. I'm going to check that. Article 12, paragraph 3, withholding rate 0. So then I'm going to click next. This is how your document will be generated. Review the 3 PDFs and confirm your information. So I'm just going to go over that really quickly. All of these forms look like they need to be signed. So I don't know if I have to print them out and then sign them. But I don't know. They look okay, I suppose. I confirm that I have reviewed the generated tax documents to the best of my knowledge and believe they are true, correct, and complete. Next. Under the penalties of perjury, I declare that I have examined the information on this form and to the best of my knowledge and belief it is true, correct, and complete. I further certify under penalties of perjury that I am the individual that is the beneficial owner, or am authorized to sign for the individual that is the beneficial owner of all the income to which this form relates, or I am using this form to document myself for Chapter 4 purposes. The person named in the tax identity section of this form is not a U.S. person. The income to which this form relates is A, not effectively connected with the conduct of a trade or business in the United States, effectively connected but is not subject to tax under an applicable income tax treaty, or the partner's share of a partnership effectively connective income. The person named in the treaty identity section of this form is a resident of the treaty country/region listed in the tax treaty section of the form, if any, within the meaning of the income tax treaty between the U.S. and that country/region, and for broker transactions or barter exchanges, the beneficial owner is an exempt foreign person. Furthermore, I authorize this form to be provided to any withholding agent that has control, receipt, or custody of the income of which I am the beneficial owner, or any withholding agent that can disperse or make payments of the income of which I am the beneficial owner. Full legal name, does that mean my first, middle, and last? I'm just going to assume yes. Are you the person listed in the signature section? Yes. I am the person listed in the signature section and I'm completing this form on my own behalf. Next. Activities and services performed in U.S. and affidavit. Activities and services performed in the U.S. Services and activities performed in the U.S. by non-U.S. payees may be subject to U.S. withholding tax, and Google may be required to withhold U.S. tax from your payments. If you select no, you certify that Google doesn't pay you or your organization for services or activities performed in the U.S. If you select a yes, you may be able to reduce the rate of your eliminate U.S. withholding tax if you complete a U.S. tax form with a valid income tax treaty claim. I'm not entirely sure what this is saying because I run my YouTube channel from Canada, like I'm currently sitting in my Toronto bedroom, but it is a US website. So does that mean I'm doing business in the US? I don't think so. If you select no, you certify that Google doesn't pay you or your organization for services or activities performed in the US. I don't do anything in the US, but it's on a US website. See, it says, has the individual or entity identified in the tax identity section performed any activities and services for Google within the US? I'm not within the US, so I'm going to say no. I certify that the services provided to Google or its affiliates will be performed solely outside the US. So I'm doing it for Google, which is who owns YouTube, but I'm outside of the US, and that any labor or capital, including facilities or other tools used to provide such services, will be physically located outside the US. So yes, I am physically located outside of the US, so check that. Status change affidavit. Are you providing tax info for a new or existing payment profile that hasn't received payments, or an existing payment profile that has previously received payments? So I have previously received payments through AdSense. I am providing tax info for an existing payments profile that has previously received payments. Under the penalties of perjury, I declare that the information and certification contained herein remained the same and unchanged, except as provided below, from January 1st, 2020 through the present, and were true, correct, and complete for that time. To the extent that there were any changes, please detail them here and include dates of relevant changes. There haven't been. Submit. Wait! So this says that for AdSense and whatever else I checked off, it says that I have claimed 0%. But then for motion picture, I thought it would just leave it alone, but it says that the rate is a 30% withholding. So if I ever do that in the future, it's going to withhold 30%. Hold the phone. I'm just going to see what it says if I click submit new form. I'm going to start a new form, do everything exactly the same, except go back to the motion picture and TV thing. Okay, so it says motion picture and TV royalties, such as certain YouTube movies and shows and play partners. If I check that, it says, as a tax resident of the country/region identified in the tax identity section, the individual identified in the tax identity section meets required terms of the treaty and doesn't have a permanent establishment in the U.S. or the right or property in the respect of which the royalties are paid isn't effectively connected with a permanent establishment or fixed base. So, Article 12, Paragraph 2. Ooh, the treaty rate isn't reduced to 0. It's reduced to 10%, which is fine. That's fine. So for AdSense, it's 0. For YouTube Partner Program, it's reduced to 0. And for motion picture and TV royalties, it's reduced to 10%. So if you are doing like YouTube movies and stuff, then you are still gonna get double taxed, I guess, 10% in the US and then however much in your country, but it's definitely less than 30%, so there's that. Okay, so I have gone in and I have done everything the same except for that one section. So now in my AdSense, it says that my status has been approved and I have claimed the 10% for the motion picture and TV, 0% for other copyright, 0% for services. So basically, I'm not involved in any YouTube movies or anything as of right now. I don't know about the future, but as of right now, so basically, I'm not going to get double taxed because for AdSense and the YouTube Partner Program, I am having 0% withheld because Canada has a treaty agreement with the United States. So I was very worried that I was going to get double taxed, and according to this form, which has apparently instantly been approved, then I am not going to get double taxed. So yes, this video was kind of an experiment, I guess. This was me genuinely filling it out for the first time. And as you could see, I had some questions and I was like, oh, I don't really know. But then after I read into each thing a little bit more, I realized that I did qualify for the treaty and everything got approved. So for the TIN, the taxpayer identification number, for outside of the US, for me, what I did was I put in my social insurance number. So in America, they have their social security number. In Canada, we have a social insurance number. So for my fellow Canadians watching this, for that TIN, put in your social insurance number. So because I put in that information so they know who I say I am, that's why it instantly got approved, I assume. So proving that I am Olivia Grace Henry, putting in my taxpayer identification number, shows that I, in fact, qualify for this treaty agreement. So, yes, I can't speak for the other countries on the list. I don't know if all of them get reduced to 0, 0, and 10%, or maybe it's a different agreement for different countries. I don't know, but I can show that for Canadians, for what most of your YouTube income probably is currently, unless you're a big YouTuber who's part of like, you're on like the YouTube premium shows and stuff, which I assume that's what they mean by the motion picture and TV. I assume that's what they're talking about. But if you're just like, the only money you're claiming from Google right now is AdSense and you're in Canada, then you won't get double taxed because you qualify for the treaty agreement. So yes, that's all for this week's video. I hope you enjoyed it and I hope it was informative. If it was, give it a thumbs up. If you think your friends will enjoy it, or if you know someone who needs to see this, be sure to share it with them. All my social media links will be down below in case you want to follow me on there. Be sure to subscribe to my channel because I make new videos every Monday, and I'll see you next Monday with a new video.